Jesus Christ had dreads, so shake 'em. I'm selling drugs to your daughter so I can become you. Just pleading, just like, please, if you can find it in your heart, just forgive me and just let me continue on my ways and I'll never come back, Wow. And I looked at Chaz and like, please let them know. And she just looks at me, looks at them, and she's like, these sure. Like, bitch, that was like 4 words, man. What the fuck? Tell her everything I said, please. I was like, God, I'm going to jail.
You ever see something so true that you couldn't unsee it? Something that you just knew would serve you. Whether it be self-awareness, plant medicine, a lover, a career. That's what we get down to here. Welcome to Disciplined Stoners, the gateway drug to mindfulness. Spark up or don't, and enjoy the show. Glad you're here.
And welcome back to another episode of Disciplined Stoners.
I'm your host, Ellevan.
My name is Winnie,
and we are the gateway drug to mindfulness. And today, my man, we crossed paths time ago. The energy is real. You can see this guy doing his thing out here. I'm gonna pass it to Winnie to actually articulate some details, but we gotta get at these vibes in a minute.
Our next guest has performed at Just for Laughs, North by Northeast, and Manifesto. You've seen him on the LOL Network and Roast Battles Canada. He's host of the podcast The Extra Gravy Show, and he's coming to your town with the Extra Gravy Comedy Tour. Please welcome Big Norm!
Hey guys,
Thanks for being here, bro.
what in the Justin Timberlake and Joey Fatone was that? You guys are so in sync. It's crazy. That was
We're 175 episodes in.
okay. Well, you better be in sync at that point. 140 in.
And
that was really
man.
impressive. I'm not gonna lie.
Thank you so much.
You've been making me laugh literally since you walked in the door. You're so
It's
funny,
a giggle
man.
fest, dude.
Sweet.
Did you look up that God thing?
Yeah, I think it is. Sorry, I think it is. So, anyways, it's Yahweh. I think.
Yahweh,
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
And apparently, it's basically the way he explained it. It was like Yahweh is basically the thing you say. It's basically the sound of breath. So the first thing you say when you're bored is Yahweh, your breath, and the last thing you say when you die is Yahweh. It's breath. So
Amazing.
in that sense, the idea of God just being life, all things, and it's not this dude that's sitting on a throne looking down at you saying, is he black? Is he white? Is he Jewish? Is he dread? It's a neither.
Yes.
Is that still a common belief, system, that there's one
I think people
human-like
symbolize.
structure that is hey, you're bad and you're good, and then
Well, I'm just using the actual physical representation of what they make God look
right,
like.
Yeah.
okay,
Well, it's obviously through Jesus. Hey, Jesus is the Son of God, the living embodiment of God. So when you think of, naturally for me at least, when I thought of God, I just thought of this dude with this, this hipster-looking dude with a beard looking down.
Yeah.
Just being like, hey, what's up?
That's what was sold to us in the 90s. I always, I'm a confirmed Catholic, and my first question, I'm like, so you're telling me Jesus, our boy Yahshua from Israel, right, Middle East, is he a white guy who looks Italian? Because I don't think so. It's just so I'm happy to see in LA, I've seen several black Jesuses. I think that however you feel it should manifest, if you need to physically personify the energy of a holy energy, I think that's all it is. And because I've seen some ladies get their prayer on with the candles and it's working for them. You know what I mean? Like that visual.
I don't
agree.
knock it. Exactly.
Yeah, no, but
if it works for you,
certainly-
I'm not gonna knock it.
Yeah, but it's
if it makes you a
certainly-
better human,
No.
continue doing as you do. Because in religion, in its purest form, is that it's to be a guide to make sure you're not a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And
exactly,
like, it's so funny because like I was listening to E40 the other day.
Yeah.
Tell me where to go.
Yes, sir.
One of the first lines,
Tell
he's
me where to
like,
go.
Jesus Christ had dreads, so shake 'em. You know? And I'm like, oh, see, E40 thinks Jesus is black. You know what I'm saying? Jesus Christ had dreads, so shake 'em.
Tell me when to go.
Such a good song.
Fuck,
But-
such a good song.
Yeah, the whole point of that that opening was, and whole intentions and all that, rah, rah, rah. It was the beginning of the year. So, you know, there's a lot of reflection and like, all right, what do I want to put, what kind of energy and juju do I want to put into the new year moving forth?
Bro, is it a bother to ask you to roll me one of those banana backwoods?
Oh, no, I was
Are
going
we
to pass this
sharing
on.
this? Okay,
yeah,
bless.
this was, you know, I'm also a Scarborough guy. I
I'm
know
down
you're
to
a
clown.
Vancouver guy.
I
Right?
grew up in Vancouver.
Where the passing,
I'm
the passing. Oh, sorry. You know what? Yes, that is right. The passing etiquette in different places is always varies. Like when I'm in BC, the passing is quicker. When I'm in LA, it's even quicker. When I'm in Jamaica, I'm not passing.
yeah. That's what I
know,
assume. Learning. I mean, I grew up through my 20s in Toronto, and so I've been, you know, kind of what are they like acclimated to Toronto culture, which I feel is very stemmed in Jamaican culture.
Yes.
And so I definitely assume I'm like, all right, we should all have our own blunts. Right?
I'm of the smokers kind that you know, a Scarborough smoker where
Oh, that's
we'll
delicious.
smoke maybe 10 pulls then pass.
Beautiful. And you
Right.
know, with the first time I heard it in Toronto, it was spend some time with it. Let me spend some time with it. Let me spend some time. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right, because for sure, I'm LA smoking. I'm like, let me taste that. Let me taste that. And I'm like, I'm passing it back as I'm like finishing it, hitting it. Yeah. But I like that.
I know that
relaxed.
comes from weed being less,
Scarce.
yeah, being way more scarce and less, you know, available. So like when songs like I got 5 on it, like, hey bro, I put $5 on this dime, we gonna go on half,
Yeah,
and there's
dude.
gonna be like 8 guys on this blunt,
Dude.
you know. So I get it, you know what I mean. But now we're in the era where like everyone's like, oh, put some. The grabba leaf, the grabba ratio, weed to grabba ratio right now is getting out of hand. In Toronto, at least. It's always been that in the UK. It's 50-50, tobacco 50, weed 50.
So
right?
that you're smoking a cigar with a little bit of weed.
Pretty much.
I like
That's
the
what it is at this point in Toronto.
homie from I was in LA, but he grew up in Brooklyn, and he was telling me this New York roll. We actually have it on a podcast.
Easy Wider,
No, well, that's the Swisher Sweets.
the Swisher Sweets.
Is that what you're? Yeah. So you break it and then
So there's
and
two-
then wrap it.
So okay, well you got the Swisher Sweets, and then you got the Dutch Masters, right?
Right.
They always had 2 layers.
Yes, the Dutch. True, the Dutch. That was yeah. That was
So
cool.
with the Swisher Sweets, they had like a really, really thin layer, a really, really thin tobacco leaf wrapped around the re-plastered tobacco. So you know, like they'll break down tobacco leaf and then re-glue it into a paper form.
Yeah.
So it's that, just like how a Century Sam was back in the days, or a Philly. But then there would be that thin outer roll of tobacco.
Yeah.
So some people would cut it right in half and then roll both layers. Some people would save that second layer, roll something else with that, and roll 2 things with it. But
Brilliant.
after a while, I was like, I don't want the stuff that's broken down and
Yeah.
remade into paper. I just want to go straight to the leaf,
Yeah.
Which
right?
is,
Which is what a
very-
backwood is.
babe,
Makes
you should
sense.
just try one pull. It's so delicious with the banana.
And treat it like a cigar and just don't even inhale it. Just blow it back out.
Yeah,
At least you can
taste
taste it. You
That's
know.
a good idea. I don't even know if I know how to do that.
So you know when you know how some people do the, and it's like a straight streamline of
Yes.
smoke going through the
That's
lungs.
her.
That's you. So
Yeah.
this one, don't do that. It's a pull into your mouth. Just it's kind of like let your tongue block your throat from the smoke.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when you blow it back out, it's not actually going down. You know.
Yeah. The flavor.
multiple flavors.
It's amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
When I was in where was I? I think it was Jamaica. I had a friend that pulled out one of those Thai sticks.
Oh yeah.
We tried one of those this summer.
Ooh, those are heavenly.
Yeah,
Oh my
it was
God.
such a nice smoke. It was such a slow burn.
Oh.
I didn't even care to like after smoking so much of it. I started smoking like a cigar. I wasn't even inhaling the weed. I was just like, because it tastes.
Yeah.
Because it just tasted so good with all the resin. Because halfway down, that's when the resin is really, really, just developed. And then now you're smoking just resin that's not been pressed. It's been sucked out of it. You know,
Pressure.
no need for pause. Let that shit play.
Heat pressure deep.
I feel like you are quite knowledgeable.
Yeah,
of
you are one with the
cannabis.
plant,
Is that
bro.
correct?
You've been with this plant for a minute, hey?
We've been in a let's see, almost a 27-year entanglement.
Wow.
All right.
I say entanglement because we're up and down, man.
A
I'm not gonna lie.
27-year, you
I
so
appreciate that honesty.
like right away. I'm like, oh, so you started smoking when you were like 3? Like, I don't even understand. Like, how 27 years? Just right from the baby bottle to the blunt.
Well,
That's funny.
I'm on the block as a 4-year-old son.
I always say, some people say black don't crack. I like to say flips don't chip. And this is the body and frame of a 40-year-old Filipino man.
My
boy.
God.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Congratulations.
So 13. is when I
13.
started smoking.
So that's 1 year
That's
below
about-
the average,
yeah.
but that's
Yeah.
about the average, yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Love
The
that.
first time I smoked was 12, but I started smoking 13, right?
Got
Then
it.
I stopped for a year when I was 16 because I turned my life to the Lord.
Okay.
And then fast forward 28 when I was 18, I went to a Seventh-day Adventist boarding school to try and become a pastor.
Oh, wow. You really were in it.
Yeah,
Wow.
I had a theology scholarship that was being offered to me, but I just had to graduate from a Adventist high school. And I couldn't pay for the tuition for that high school because it was a private boarding school in
my God.
Oshawa. And so I took matters, like the Scarborough in me took matters into its own hand. I just started selling weed and drugs at the school.
Yeah.
Cutting hair, selling porn.
Hustle, baby.
Just hustling whatever I
Yes,
could
sir.
to pay for my tuition so I could become a pastor.
Oh my God.
What
That's
an
amazing.
ironic situation.
That's like
That's
that's like the
so-
Christian version of like a stripper,
Bro.
trying to pay her way through
be a
college
nun.
to become a
Dude,
doctor.
are you writing a book or something?
I was going to say, your biopic.
You got, yeah,
your
that biopic is so
already
fun.
stacked.
Just that is an amazing story.
I remember just being like, when the past, I ended up, I got in a big fight with my father. I punched a window,
Oh, wow.
and I cut up all my tendons, and then the
Ooh.
pastor I'm freaking out. The pastor comes down, and the youth school pastor is like, "What are you doing, Norm? What's going on? Why are you doing this? Calm down." I'm like, "I'm selling drugs to your daughter so I can become you."
Handful of blood.
Handful of blood,
Full
weeping.
moment.
Father is screaming on the other end of the phone, not even hearing what's going on. Pastor be like, "What's happening?" Smashed window, just
This is like
So
some dangerous
angsty.
mind shit. This is a dangerous mind shit.
that's real teenage Christian angst.
Oh
You know?
man, that must have been really challenging.
Yeah.
That was, but it was also like, I never look at anything as a bad thing. I always look at it as an opportunity to just build off of. Some people,
Yes.
the term like, it's only an L when you allow yourself. It's only an L when you don't learn something.
Yeah, you take the lesson and the blessing from it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you got to move forward with that. dude.
Are you
Yeah.
good at learning things quickly, or do you have to learn lessons more than once to kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
implement
I'm a
changes?
stubborn Scarborough boy. Like I like to make the mistake.
Yeah.
Because once again, another one is like, you don't learn anything when you win. You only learn how to celebrate your victories, but you don't actually.
Yeah.
There's nothing that's like, it don't stick like a loss does. You know?
Mm.
Yeah.
And you got to let it sting. that's like, you can't be scared of it. You gotta go into it with like, okay, it is, you know, and that's beautiful.
Who's stronger, the guy that always wins or the guy that always loses but still keeps on going?
That's the whole
for
story
sure.
of Rocky. That's, you know,
100%.
that's it. Like, and it's easier said than done most times, so you get discouraged. But yeah, no, there's something to be said for, oh, I'm going to come back. And then if you observe yourself having improved behavior, you're more stuck to your morals from the lessons that you've just learned this next time around, your vision's so clear. And I feel like you just like just perpetually fucking move forward with like a new energy. Let that fucking sting drive you.
Right.
Yeah.
But you know what's so fucked up? As much as like you have such a clear vision of what to do better, because you've done it wrong, you still have a really clear view of how to do it wrong. So you could still...
And the tendency.
Yeah. So I'm the type that continues to fuck up, but I will never allow any fuck up to hold me down for too long.
That's
It's
it.
just, you know...
You gotta fail.
'Cause
I love failing. Don't be scared.
Fail forward.
Fail forward.
You know what I'm saying?
Dude.
My pops was unfortunately, you know, a manic depressant, or AKA they call bipolar disorder now. And he just never had a grip of how to handle his losses.
They get stuck in the cycle.
And he was just stuck in perpetual motion, always just like feeling shitty for the shit that happened in the past. And
Can't let it
I
hold
told
you.
myself I would never be the guy to dwell.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I had a similar experience, you know, obviously through the choices that it's so much easier to find what you want to be like through negative behavior of what you don't want. Like, I observe it to be easier. Even through marrying, like, I find like my pops is like mad talented but never did anything with it. So here, I'm gonna set a world record for releasing more songs than any artist ever has in a year.
Yeah,
Like,
there you
I'm
go.
gonna just work fucking until it's
This is for you, Dad.
notably extremely different, like on purpose to be comedically in the other way. So that was my journey of doing too much and then like centering it back towards the center, being more thoughtful, being more mindful, being intentional, and like harnessing your power more. But
Right.
yeah, it can be a powerful thing to see what you don't want and work backwards from there. That's alchemy. That's what we're here to do. Fail.
But you know what's funny? So I do a little graphic design on the side when I need some money.
I feel like you're a talented soul, an artist who can navigate. I love that.
I'm an artist by I don't even want to say by default. It's by way of, I don't even want to call it laziness. It's just like I don't want to do things I don't want to do.
Yeah, bro, straight the fuck up, bro.
I'm sorry, I just don't want to do it because I don't want to.
Yeah.
So let me just do the things I want to do. I have 80 years in this world, 90 maybe.
There
like,
you go.
am I gonna spend it doing things that I don't want to do?
No,
Like no. I'm
that's
gonna do, you know, and then I differentiate what I want to do and and the things that what I want to do that's good for myself and the people around me, and what I want to do that's detrimental to those around me. And then I just, all right, just maybe you can't do that. Then just stay sticking to this, you know.
prioritize.
But like, at the end of the day, man, I don't know how not to do that.
Yeah.
So and it just so happens that art is those things.
yeah,
Right?
exactly. And you're driven to create the manifestations that reflect the energy. You
Yeah.
know, that's the important part, is like that you're willing to put the work in, because it's easy to have ideas, but you know, to have the balls to get up and make people laugh or make content or start things and stick to them, it's like that becomes the work in itself. So anytime someone is like selling their time for someone else's dream for money, that's fine. That can be like a means to an end. But I'm with you, bro. I'm like, I could never hold a job. I got this famous just like handshake after 2 weeks of employment. That's like, well, agree to disagree then. Like, you can't just leave in the middle of your shift. I disagree.
I've quit more jobs than I've got. Okay. It's like, how do you quit more than the jobs you've actually had? Like,
Because I made a few and
You
then
know?
quit them. Because I
Exactly.
asked for commission-based situations. That is literally true.
buddy. So back to the graphic design. So somebody will be like, "Hey, I want you to do this," and I'll be like, "Your ideas suck. I don't want
Yo!
to do it anymore. Take your money back."
That's amazing. 'Cause
You know?
No, it's
And
like
I'm trying to tell you as a professional, This, in my professional opinion, you should not have 72 logos on this poster
Facts.
and have a separate poster for logos
Yes.
to give your sponsors their shout outs.
Exactly.
But if you're trying to lure people in,
Oh my God.
you think people want to see 70 different logos that just look like a bunch of dots?
Yeah, you don't absorb that
Let
at
me
all.
take the time out of my day to zoom in and look at these tiny little fucking PNGs that have been organized on the corner of this fucking poster.
You know, all that does
It's hilarious.
is it makes other people that need sponsorships go, hey, who sponsored this? This guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. It's
Oh
just you
my
get a
God,
bunch of
yeah.
you just get a bunch of
Bro.
people that are with bad intentions looking to work with you, not because they want to support your brand, or it doesn't help.
Bro, you are coming
never
from the
looked at it
heart.
like that,
Well,
yeah.
that's what it is. It creates FOMO in the marketplace because for me, those are private documents. That's on a deck of brands we've worked with, but like it should come with a story. Like anytime I work with a brand, it's like we've done a campaign that has to do with their product and how it relates to the community and how it's a mutual benefit. Like there's like good case examples, but then just going like blah 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 is like it gives me anxiety. And I'm so glad to hear that because you're like, no, I will keep my powers to myself that have good taste.
Yes, you don't want to do it. Fine, cool. Here you go. I don't do that. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
But there's times where I'm like, just suck it up, Norm. You need the money right now, bro. Just do it. And I'm just like, send it off. Like, this is great. I'm like, all right, don't tell anyone I did it. Thank you.
Gotta ghostwrite sometimes, homie. Gotta
know?
ghostwrite.
We were yeah, it's so interesting because like we're building this podcast on YouTube, and we were watching one of our favorite YouTubers. He's a chef, and he off the top of his video he was selling his own knife, and we were like, that's great placement. That's something that you believe in. You talked about it for fucking 3
It's
minutes,
your
but
knife.
it's yours. But
You
it's your
believe in
knife.
it.
And then like maybe like 7 minutes later, then he did an ad for someone else's shit.
For headphones, for Amazon AirDrop headphone type hustle.
And I was like, on one hand, like you're getting your money and you have people to pay and this is a great production and I really appreciate you. But then I looked at Ellevan and I was like, is that what we are working towards? Like, are we working towards just like these placements that we don't like really believe in? Like we have to have that discussion.
to be pimped? No,
Because if
I'm
it
not.
comes to a point where Coca-Cola comes around, like, what do we do?
I
then?
asked
This is
Juanita.
what you do. You say, listen, we can do this and it'll cost this much and we can do it what everyone else does. Or we could add a bit more budget into it, which will give us more encouragement to actually create something that's not so regular.
Hey.
Because half of it is like people don't want to do the work to create that really, really good
Yeah.
asset.
advertisement / content. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there is a tasteful way to advertise, I feel. But
There is
not
great
everybody has the know-how how to do it, nor the time. So they just, and like, this is the easiest way to get money from this, just so that we can focus on the podcast. Because once you start creating like content for these guys, for these companies that want to give you brand money, but you're just like, your artistic integrity makes you want to do such a good thing. Sometimes doing more work is not worth it anymore. So that's why you end up doing that. Because
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys will probably, let's do it. We could do it. Do it for like 5 times. Like, you know what? It's just too stressful. Let's take it away from the podcast. Let's do the podcast, and who cares about this? If they're going to give us the money, we'll just do the bare minimum and do that. And that's what ends up happening.
Yeah.
Because if they're willing to pay for that, knowing that it probably won't even really do much for the viewer, like they're not actually going to be like, yeah, there'll probably be a couple of people that'll be like, you know what? I'm going to check it out. Who knows if they'll actually buy it.
Yeah.
But I think to them, they're just like, whatever. We have the budget to spend on advertising anyways. Take
Yeah,
it.
well, I'm with you in the way that there's a way to do it that doesn't feel corny. Like, honestly, if you look at actual campaigns, not like clicky bye-bye campaigns. Do you know that, like, Silk Sonic, the Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak is
when they did that
Lacoste and their tequila. That's a marketing campaign. That duo is Lacoste and their tequila, and it's nowhere. There's no fucking brands or logos. But in every shot, you'll see the tequila and or a subtle Lacoste logo. And it's no one knows. And they're like, hey, artists, bagged up, do your thing, add in some... It's a class of texture in culture. It's like you being sponsored by Backwoods. It's like, you holler at your boy, you know? Like...
I want that alcohol now. I want to try that fucking rum so bad.
I know.
I'm not gonna lie.
They're sitting around drinking it.
And the funny thing was, when Bruno Mars was doing it, he was also like, "This is obviously an ad, but hey, whatever. We having fun with it." It was kind of like Wayne and Garth in Wayne's World.
The Reebok, the Dorito.
Like, it's like the things people do, you know.
I know, but when I do get a headache from it, I have an aspirin.
And I was like, "Ooh, Nuprin, yellow, little."
You're the classics, bro.
That's my favorite movie of all time.
Dude, that was shot over 4 weekends?
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
It was in that Netflix the movies that made us. And they were like, Chris Farley was thrown in there last minute. Yeah, so I resonate so much. I think you're hilarious for everyone, but I definitely
Thank you.
resonate so much with your comedy, I feel, because... Perhaps your comedic mind was framed in a similar time as mine, so you're cut from that same cloth of those SNL movies.
Yeah.
And
the kids born in the late 1900s.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The millennials, if you will. No, that's killer, man. How did that manifest? How did you end up getting into comedy? Because that's like a serious God-given gift you got, man.
Wait.
I'm sorry.
We you left us at a bloody hand, and you were about to be a pastor.
Sold drugs.
We need to know. That was
so obviously they told them to get out.
Yeah, my when I was growing up in Scarborough, I was half foot in church, half foot in the streets, and it was just by association, by design. The area I grew up in, all my cousins did it, so whatever. All that to be said. I was singing in the church. I was part of the choir. I had a little R&B freaking gospel group that I would tour the Seventh-day Adventist church circuit.
Let's go.
Every Sabbath weekend, you know what I mean?
Every day I love my Jesus, every day. You guys just bust out some delicious Christian R&B?
Pretty much. And because when you think about it, R&B is really just gospel, but they substituted God with a girl. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, nailing it. Yeah, literally those 2/5 chords that you do hear in love making music, that's God music. That is church thrown in there.
So, and all the singing styles in R&B is derived from how they sang in the gospel church. But all that to be said, so my performing life and career started in church, just singing. So my original love was singing.
Beautiful.
I was always a clown, a bit of a funny guy, because that was my defense mechanism. That's how I survived. The little guy in the hood,
yep.
Easily can get picked on, made fun of, but I had a slick tongue. I was funny, and I always had the best weed. So that's what kept me alive around all these big hood,
I feel you.
dudes that get involved in criminal activity.
I feel you.
But that's what it was growing up in Toronto community housing. Well, fast forward after that ordeal. Because that was my attempt to all right, I'm leaving the streets, Mom. You've always wanted you dedicated me to be a pastor at birth. So here's my attempt. I'm going to the same high school you graduated in, that private Seventh-day Adventist boarding school in Oshawa. Let's do it. Get kicked out. So I'm on a spiritual sabbatical, Mother. I'm just gonna go find my ways. And then became an R&B singer. Tried to rap for a little bit.
Let's go.
And then next thing you know, I was like, I can't rap, I can't sing. The world's not ready for a Filipino R&B or rapper, R&B singer or rapper. Well, Bruno Mars comes out a few years later. I'm like, fuck, you could have done it, bro. Shit. But anyway,
the world's always ready for a Filipino song, bro.
But then I was just chilling one day. I guess I shifted into a comedic host because I was hosting parties. Had a friend doing DVD magazines at the time. Remember when Smack DVD?
Yes,
Juice DVD and all that shit.
So good.
I was one of the hosts, just going to different Toronto events and interviewing different Toronto
Lit.
musicians and personalities.
Let's go.
And I always try to do it at least with a comedic twist. And then next thing you know, I try to dabble into acting. I got a role in this online web musical called Prison Dancer.
Yo!
And then I met a comedian, Ron Jossel, on set, and he challenged me to try comedy, and I tried it and fucking loved it. And I've been doing it for 12 years now.
Oh, what a beautiful
story.
ascension into it.
It was all like, it was never planned because I never thought I could be stage funny. But then it makes sense because everyone was like, hey, you should be a pastor. You'd be great up there. The way you deliver your message, the way that you talk and their perspective and how you're able to see things the way other people can't. You'd be a great pastor, to help guide people to the promised land. And I was like, it sounds so like such a valiant thing to do. But I was also like, that's a lot of pressure, man. I don't know if I could be all that.
That's kind of what you do as a comedian.
I was going to say, they're kind of one and the same. Like, if you think about it, when you're guiding a sermon, when you're talking about truth as a human being, you are freeing people from suffering.
Yeah.
In that moment. So you are guiding the hand of God through people's hearts, but so what, you happen to swear or use some like funny hood ass cultural reference to get people to just fucking relax.
Yeah.
Like, it's a beautiful
Jesus
thing.
Christ!
Yeah. But no, it's like if you're saying like that you can only be a pastor if you memorize these like very ancient scripts and tales, it's like you get the gist of it. You know how your heart feels light when you use your gift to change the perspective on things.
Right.
Like you are telling people for a minute, ease your heart, relax. Like, you're taking them away from their problems.
Exactly.
That's beautiful, bro.
That's and that's like, I was always what's the word?
Turned on by.
Not turned on when you're pushed to do something. When something driven. There you go. That's the word. Yeah. I was always driven to do things that compelled to do things that made me feel good, right? Like anybody does things to make themselves feel good, and it just so happened making others feel good is what made me feel good.
Oh, it's amazing.
Because it's just like this. It's this great continuous, energy of like, you do good for me, I'm gonna do good for you. Thanks, man. Let me do something good back then. And it's just like, yeah. Right? And it can make life go one way, but then you do something bad, and that shit could lead to war. You know what I mean? Eventually.
Oh, yeah.
With you, an eye for an eye, like, I don't know why an eye for an eye is always, like, towards a negative thing. Like, right? When everyone's like, an eye for an eye, like, you took my eye, I'm going to take your eye. What about, like...
An eye for an eye. I watch your back, you watch mine.
Yeah, like, let's look out for each other. An eye for an eye.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So, but it's that, like, mentality that forced me to dive into certain things like comedy or even cooking. Because cooking makes people so happy. When you feed them and they feel nourished, like there's nothing better. Think about it. There's natural sounds that people make within like our natural human tendencies that show and express our true emotion. Like when we have sex, we just there's noises we make.
Yes.
We don't make those noises anywhere else.
Same with food.
But then we make those noises. Well, that same sound that you make when you eat something, you get that with food. You get that with sex.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you don't get that with laughter, with comedy, but it creates laughter. Laughter is that's another
visceral reaction.
Visceral reaction that you don't get with anything else, right?
I know.
So like when you can really compel people to laugh or to go in any way, like that makes you feel good. You're providing that blessing, for them to enjoy.
Yes.
And that in turn makes me feel good, as weird and as not weird, but as
no, it totally is entirely
basic as it sounds. Like,
you are consciousness making yourself laugh through yourself. You're able to play that role, and you're able to give that love, and that explosive moment is so fun. Congratulations. It feels very nice. I know what you mean about food. I really leaned into cooking content even during the pandemic because I was like doing freestyles, and fans I had for years were not liking the side I was on and the shit I was talking and all that. And then I was like, fuck, let me just stick to fucking food, because you know what doesn't piss people off? A fucking pizza. Like, you know,
less politics, more pizza. Let's go, guys.
Here
we go.
That's where the fuck I landed. And I was like, and then so I manifested. I also briefly told you when I saw you at the concert, it's like I found like a really cool, you know, opportunity for me to manifest my chefing, and it was, I had full creative control, and I it's deeply satisfying when someone is nurtured by something you've created. It's very akin to like making art. It basically is.
Culinary arts.
Dude,
That's why it's an art.
Do you have one thing that you love to cook the most? Do you have one go-to dish that you make?
See, I don't think I have a go-to dish, but like I've been cooking this thing called tortang talong. Okay, so tortang talong is a Filipino eggplant dish.
Oh wow.
It's pretty much like an egg. I guess it would be translated to an eggplant omelet, but then they basically roast eggs. Okay, and then I actually want to just try this, but within a backwood. That's why.
Word.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm weird like that. I do that.
I
shit.
love that, but please help yourself.
Thank you. But yeah, so you roast eggplant, and then after it's all nicely roasted, you could literally roast it on your stovetop just over the element. You could create some smoky, you know, smells in your kitchen, but
Cool.
that's what the fan's for. But anyways, once you roast it, you peel off the skin, inside's nice and cooked. And then you just smash the eggplant, but you leave the head on of the long Asian eggplant.
Oh my
gosh,
gosh.
The fat Italian one.
Yeah. Yeah, we do. No pause.
Keep that shit playing, man, right? And then you just beat up some eggs, salt, pepper. Then you could add some onions, some garlic. You got tomato. You could add corned beef, whatever you want. But the basic is eggplant with the egg, and you just with the
Love
roasted eggplant with the egg. And it's
With
so
the skin
simple.
peeled off, yum! I
Yeah.
bet it's so good.
And you mushed it up,
Smashed
right?
You
eggplant?
smashed it right into the egg. So like the way they do it, they'll take a plate, they'll put some of the scrambled egg over top on the bottom, just when it's beaten up, right? And then you basically smash it out and spread it out as much as you can within the egg, and then over the pan, just kind of slide it off, and then it just creates this nice little big round disc of roasted eggplant with the egg.
Perfect.
And it's just so simple. I like to put I'll just fry some really thinly sliced hickory sticks that I just make myself, a little hash, and then pour it over top. Hit it with some of that Japanese mayo.
Yes.
Ooh.
The
Q pie.
QP.
Pie, whatever they call it. But that, you know that.
The little
It's
red.
so
No,
good.
it's so good.
With that thin ass bottle that gets all limp. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Once it's half done, you're like, I'm gonna throw this out for now.
No, it's so funny. My girl put it in the fridge, and I guess the top still had, from the point where she squeezed it, the top still had mayo in it, and the bottom still had mayo in it, and it folded over the ledge. So when I opened it, it just like this
sad.
limp Q pie mayonnaise container.
As long as you get it closed, because you don't want that dried mayonnaise.
No,
off the top.
no.
That's crusty.
But yes, yeah, I'll say tortang
beautiful.
talong is my favorite thing right now. But I love cooking. I grew a lot of intolerances over the last few years, so like I don't even get to eat the things that I like to eat.
Oh, you what? Tolerance
That's
is what?
interesting.
Yeah, like I grew a legume intolerance, so I
Mushrooms.
can't. No legumes. Well, someone's like vegetables. I mean, no, I guess legumes is what they call beans.
Yeah.
So beans, chickpeas, lentils, like all those things I can't eat anymore.
No more
and
hummus.
no more hummus, no more dal, no more Trinidadian doubles, no more.
You might grow out of it.
I know,
Isn't it
yeah.
like every 7 years or something?
Well, I think that's the 7-year thing.
Yeah.
Like that's what
You-
changed.
yeah,
Your
something
body
changed.
changes, right?
Yeah, I can't even eat spice no more. So
Oh,
like
fuck.
no spicy food. So no hot peppers. Like my mouth can handle it, but my body can't.
Oh wow.
So it's
Spicy
a
is
very
fun.
sad situation because I love West Indian food. I love island food. That was my favorite cuisine to cook.
Oh yeah.
Any island food from the Philippines to the West Indies, as long as it's an island and tropical, I want to cook it.
Do they? That's beautiful. Do they have a lot of crossovers? Those regions?
I wouldn't. Well, yeah. Like Trinidad, Jamaica, for sure. Like the West Indies, they always have crossovers. Like everyone kind of has their version of curry in the West Indies.
Right.
Even the Philippines, they have their own version of a curry, which we call kare kare.
Nice.
That's just how we pronounce curry.
Sick.
It's peanut butter based.
I love the Filipino sweetness, bro. The barbecue, you put Sprite or something in the barbecue
we put
sauce.
Sprite in the barbecue sauce. Oh, no, we basically marinate the meat in barbecue. The barbecue meat is marinated in Sprite, lemon, soy sauce, garlic,
Delicious.
and onions.
That is.
Yeah, that sounds great.
And it's very that's all it is. And then they just always have a glaze just to finish it up when they.
Remember Good? And I grew up in BC in Richmond, and there's a lot of Filipinos there.
Yep.
And actually, on my soccer team, there's the center. Me and this kid were killers. His name was Ishwan. He had the whoa man, he could foot
He got
dribble.
the dribbles. Huh?
Oh, he could make a big motherfucker twist around and fall, and that was the sharp right turn. Anyway, yeah, a lot of Filipino barbecue there growing up. That was fucking delicious. I was like, why is it so sweet? But,
Yeah, kare kare is a peanut butter oxtail, and it's like. One day I'm gonna cook for you guys.
I would love.
Do you guys
would
eat
be
oxtail?
great.
By the way,
Oh yeah,
not everyone
yeah.
likes oxtail.
Oh yeah.
So they cook down the oxtail so that it's fall off the bone, and then the base of the sauce is whatever oxtail jus that's left over from cooking it and boiling it, and peanut butter and shrimp paste.
Oh,
Like this Filipino
delicious.
fermented shrimp paste.
So
It
Yes.
smells like death,
yeah, but
but it tastes like life.
umami.
Is there a spice to that or no? That
It's salt.
it's salt.
It's basically salt, right?
Like sometimes, no, they don't really put
The shrimp
peppers
paste?
in it.
No.
Yeah, there's no spiciness to it.
So
It's just like a nice creamy. Yeah.
So it's the curries. It's the bases like that. My cooking, I guess, is a blend between like French and Italian. So it's like obviously you start so many dishes with like a mirepoix or like basically garlic and herbs kind of thing, and like constantly cross over, work with broth or something like that. It's like similar region based for what they have.
Yeah.
You can intersplice anything.
I love how every culture has their own mirepoix.
Yeah,
Like
totally. What do you
like
start with?
They're like 3 specific things. It's always the base of every
Yeah.
meal. Like
Yeah.
so the French, Italians
The carrot,
is
onion,
celery, right?
Yeah.
Filipinos is onion, garlic, ginger.
Yeah, ginger.
Like that.
I think Thai has that in common
Thais
too,
and
right?
dill. Like Asian, pretty much is that's the Asian mirepoix.
That's
onion,
delicious.
onion,
It's
carrot,
fantastic.
onion, garlic, ginger.
And then the things that you can constantly just like toss it with. Like we went for a Korean barbecue on my birthday, and it's like, oh yeah, I forgot. This just comes with like kimchi, this jello stuff that I'm not sure what it is, but it looks cute. And like there's a couple things I'm like, oh, and sprouts. Vietnamese food comes with sprouts and
Bean sprouts and the
Yeah.
basil.
basil, the Thai basil, the harder basil. So when you get that pho down,
Yeah.
you're like, this has a little.
And you see that? Are you guys of the cilantro?
Yep,
Tongue?
we are on
'Cause
cilantro.
some people
we
don't,
are.
Yeah,
I know
you
they
either
don't
love
handle
it or
right?
hate it. Yeah.
But their cousin culantro, right? It comes on that same plate of the bean sprouts and the basil and the chili peppers, but it's that long
Oh.
dandelion grass looking one. It's the cousin of cilantro, culantro. But
Let's learn
the
something
Trinidadians call it shadow benny.
Lit.
There's a restaurant on Queen and Shaw called Shadow Benny.
Oh,
But
I'm learning something today.
it's a really it's fresher. There's something about it that's like
More spearmint.
you could eat it like it's thicker, so like
Yeah.
Okay.
it's more substantial, but it doesn't linger as much.
Yeah, like a cilantro might like wither in some beef broth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas this one like
steak.
holds its own.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever had a Trinidadian green seasoning? Sorry, I don't know. Seasoning. The green seasoning from Trinidad is probably some of the best. Like, it's basically this herby seasoning that they put in everything. It's like there's rosemary, garlic, pimento peppers, scotch bonnet, ginger, garlic, green onions, shadow benny, parsley, and they just muddle it. and it's just like every family has a jar of their own version of it. You know, there's lime and vinegar and all this stuff, and it just sits there for they have it for as long as it lasts.
As long as it lasts, exactly.
But it'll be there. You'll have it for a month, and you're just like, ooh. And the longer it goes, sometimes it's like,
stanky, banging.
There's an oomph to it, and it's so fresh. When they put that shit on their curries, when they put that shit in their stews, and where they just pour a little bit on their fruits. You know, when they put, I never liked when people salted their fruits. To me, I'm just like, that's weird. It's a sweet thing. Why are you gonna salt it up?
Yeah,
but then
the Mexicans
every culture
do it delightly,
does
though.
it. Mexicans do it. That
Delightly.
touch me, brother. Pause.
My man.
All right, but Filipinos, we do that with the shrimp paste and
Yes.
sour mango.
Oh, the Filipino mangoes, the dried mangoes. That's the one. 7D from the Philippines, one of the most banging exports there is.
That is one of our, mangoes and nurses. Those are our top 2 exports.
And cover bands.
And cover bands. Hey, man. The best cover bands, too. So good that
best.
even Journey said, yo, you could actually sing with us for real. All right?
Oh, exactly.
You've been doing
That's
covers
right.
of us so well. You pretty much sing just as good as our old lead. Rest in peace. You are. Did you know that the actual Journey
Oh, yeah.
new replacement singers?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That
And
was
he sounds exactly like, if not
Oh my
like
God.
better almost. Like it's insane.
It
I
was
want to
su-
send you guys a clip. I'm going to send you guys a bunch of clips of
Please.
just the most random looking Filipinos, like I said. That you would look at and you're like, who is this cousin or uncle? You know, this fresh off the boat cousin of Norm, And then they'll fucking sing the shit out of a Luther Vandross song,
Yeah.
Dude, it's incredible.
It's amazing. I love it.
Shout out our homie in Vancouver, Gogan. Yeah. He hosted a karaoke as our homie. Yeah, he karaoke king out there.
It's
in
when you
Vancouver.
first started rapping
Well,
live.
I would just do cover songs, right?
Yeah.
And I'd like win little karaoke competitions by doing like Eminem and Lil Wayne tracks like No Love and stuff. And it's like, cool, I can just emulate my way into this.
All right, favorite verse, favorite line,
oh my
favorite hip hop
God.
rap line.
Oh, well,
First, not even favorite, first one that comes to mind. Like the one that's like, if anybody was to ask that question,
Yeah.
what would it be?
I don't do black music. I don't do white music. I make fight music for high school kids. I put lives at risk when I drive like this. I put wives at risk with a knife like this. You probably think I'm in your tape deck now. I'm in the backseat of your truck with duct tape stretched out. Duck the fuck way down, waiting to straight jump out. Put it over your mouth and grab you by the face. What now? Oh, want me to watch my mouth? How? Take my fucking eyeballs out and turn them around? I'll burn your fucking house down, circle around, and hit the hydrant so you can't put your burning furniture out. I'm sorry, there must be a mix-up. Want me to fix up lyrics while our president gets his dick sucked?
Slim Shady. Rick it. Oh, man.
Oh, who
Buddy.
knew? Who knew? And it's because, like, that really helped me as a white rapper out here in these streets, bro. I don't do black music. I don't do white music. I mean, fight music.
for high school kids?
Like, fuck you, okay? If you forgot anything about me, if you're judging, just fuck you. I hope you remember that.
I remember so I had a homie that used to work for Universal Music.
Okay.
And they started putting out the sample demo tapes. This is back when sample demo tapes were a thing.
Yes.
And they just throw them out, and all you get is a snippet of like the first 40 seconds of the song, and then it would slowly fade
Yeah.
out.
The sample
Yes.
track.
Remember the sample
the,
joints?
the radio
Loved
pop-ups,
it.
and they would give you, and like, you'd want more. I had 5 tracks to get your mom to play it.
I get the Marshall Mathers LP, the demo LP. I'm just like, who is this fucking guy? I'm like, pop it in. I want to figure out which Spice Girl I want to impregnate. I'm just like, who the what?
Yup.
Who is this guy?
Yup.
And the beats were like, yo, these beats are bumping.
That's
Okay.
Dre.
And then I hear, oh, yo, he's backed by Dre. So I'm like, all right, I guess he's the guy.
Yup.
And
Yeah.
he's the guy.
Yup.
Till this day, man. Even though like I can't stand his modern day raps, like the shit that he spits now.
Well, he's so hyper. He's so light years up. In order to be that good, then he's like for sure on the artistic scale. Like he's so complex now.
Yeah.
It doesn't reach everyone. It's like I'm forever his understudy. So I'm like, whatever you put out, I'm like, I have to at least understand the rhyme scheme and like what the references are. But yeah, I understand what you're saying.
You know how Big Pun has dead in the middle of Little Italy. Little did we know we riddled some middlemen that didn't do diddly. Eminem had a whole verse like that.
Yep.
With Renegade. You know what I mean?
See, I'm a poet to some of regular modern day Shakespeare. Jesus Christ, the king of Atlanta.
Not even that one. The first one. The first verse of that, because he does two on that one. Since I'm in the position to talk to kids and they listen, I ain't no politician, but I'll kick them with in a minute. You see, they call me a menace, and if the shoe fits, I wear it. But if it don't, then y'all will swallow the truth and bear it. Now, who's the king of these rude, ludicrous, lucrative lyrics? Who could inherit the title to put the youth in hysterics, using his views and his merits? But that's using the parents.
Saying you shouldn't hear it. Maybe it's hatred I spew. Maybe it's food for the spirit. Maybe it's beautiful music I made for you to just cherish. But I'm the baby disputed, the views in America as a motherfucking drug addict like you didn't experiment. Nah. That's when you start to stare at who's in the mirror and see yourself as a kid again. And you get embarrassed, and I got nothing to do but make you look stupid as parents. You fucking do it as you bet you couldn't do it in marriage. And do you have any clue what I had to do to get here?
Come on.
I don't think you do. So stay tuned and keep your ears glued to the stereo, because here we go. This is sinister. Mr. Kiss My Ass. Okay, can I give an honor?
You better fucking go first, Jay. Because you are not following that, bro.
But he had some nice, like, back to the wall, ashy knuckles, pockets filled with a lot of land. Not a cent.
He had to rewrite his shit, man.
Do you know that was a Royce track first? Mm-hmm. Okay, and I got an honorable mention of best lines because that verse came to mind. But the best line I'm going to give you, and then I want to know yours. I got blood on my hands and there's no remorse. I got blood on my dick because I fucked a corpse. That's the hardest bar. DMX, blood on my blood. I can't say the rest of it. I'm a nasty. When you pass me, look me in the eye. Tell me to my fucking face that you ready to die. He's so. If you needed to act tough, right? Like you were the jester in the hood too, right? Like so you didn't want to fight, but you had to put up this shield. So it's like, don't fuck with me. If you needed to get into that mindset to protect yourself, you just wanted to put on some DMX like that. That was like,
shut him down. What? Don't get. Amazing. You don't want people to get into their DMX bag, man.
No.
Stay away.
So please, your most memorable verse and most memorable line.
Well, the one that always comes to mind is like Inspector Deck's verse in Triumph.
Oh.
Like out the gate.
Oh.
What was it? Sorry, I missed it.
It's Inspector Deck's
Wu-Tang.
From Wu-Tang, his opening verse in Triumph.
Oh.
Now, what's funny about it is, obviously now as a comedian, I always look at everything from a comedic standpoint now. And the lyric goes, I bomb atomically. Socrates' philosophies and hypotheses can't define how I be dropping these mockeries. Lyrically performed armed robberies, flee with the lottery. Possibly they spotted me. I'm like, ooh, these are eloquent raps. You know what I mean? Like, damn. But then later on in life, I'm like, from a comedic perspective, like, he comes out the gate, I bomb atomically. I'm like, whoa, you must suck. How can you bomb atomically, buddy? Like, ooh, that's a bad bomb, right? Socrates' philosophies and hypotheses can't define how I be dropping these mockeries. I'm like, oh, so you're making a mockery. Huh? You're not even doing anything. It's just you're just making a mockery of this rap shit. And he goes, lyrically performed armed robberies, flee with the lottery. Possibly they spotted me. Can you imagine lyrically performing armed robbery? Like no guns. You just use the lyrics to steal and rob a bank. Like you run in like, everybody get down and stick around because I'm profound with the sound, baby. Get down.
Oh my God, dude, that's so
And
good.
it was like, please don't hurt me with your words. It's like, we'll give you everything. And that's where the comedic mind goes nowadays. But like when I was young, I'm like, yo, these rhymes and bars are so fucking profound.
I liked
yo.
it when you first did it just now. I was into it. But
right?
yeah, the perspective shift.
That is so funny, bro. The lyrical armed robbery.
Lyrically performed armed robbery.
It's incredible.
So I don't know.
I feel like that energy that you were getting from Wu-Tang versus was truly like lyricism in a sportsman-like, athletic, competitive, homies all in the room trying to do their own style, but also low-key impress each other and also low-key compete with each other. Like, you were getting like true sportsmanship in hip-hop. So that probably came from him just being like, that's just fucking sick. Like,
it's a bunch of goons just trying to sound smart in the hood. You know, that's all it was, man. Like, peep the science, God. Yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't
commit robbery.
Yo, I have this one homie. Shout outs to my boy Knox Hoff of the Don. Okay, we'd be playing video games and he'd say the most outlandish shit. Right? Everyone's like snapping, you know, talking shit when they're playing NBA 2K, whatever.
Oh yeah.
And then this one game he won, and this one guy's like, yo, fuck you, Knox, man. You ain't shit. He's like, yeah. Don't worry, I'm just here, nuzzled in the bosom of victory. You know, and I'm just like, yeah, fucking right. He's just chilling, nuzzled in the bosom of victory. And I just pictured him like just victory, like personified as this big booty chick just laying naked in the front. His face is just like leaning on it, like, ha ha. What a victory. You know, that's the name of the stripper, you know. But that's like that slick talk that we always tried to mimic when we were younger. Like, I always wanted to sound like Nas growing up. I didn't want to sound like my Toronto goon homies. They're like, yo, dog, yo, real talk, yo, check me out, family. That's cool and all. Like, that's the thing. I don't mind it. I relate to it. I can code switch when I need to, but I wanted to sound like Nas and you know, and like I used to talk like this when I was younger. You know, like, yo, yeah, man, what up? My name is Norm. Yeah. Like,
when did you evolve that?
when I realized, I'm like, you can't be talking, you know, in church like, you know, 1 Corinthians 3 verse 9. Like, I'm not trying to rap the church and shit and talking to my mom, you know, like, Mom, come on, stop that, Mom. Like, yeah, what up, babe? You know, Mom, I'm on the phone. Yeah, what's up? Like, I had to stop. I had to, you know, and just pick and choose. Like, all right, you know, I like the way this is said when it's said, and really fall into like this voice that I wanted, you know.
Yeah, that is such a big part. Like, when people start doing performance even or start recording, they realize, oh my God, I have an ego identity baked into the way I exclaim and the way that my words are phrased, like the self-awareness that comes from developing a voice and settling in one thing.
Yeah.
Is that, and then you really check yourself on all your influences and you come to realizations for sure. I was 100% like I fluctuate.
Yeah.
In my accent still.
Yeah. 100%, man.
It's just scenario,
it's
right?
A code switching thing, man. I do it all the time. I'm guilty of it.
I feel like when I kind of when I kick into more like Ebonics, we'll call it.
Yeah.
It's more about everyone's hip, so the short phrase works.
Right,
so like we all like kind of catch that wave. It's almost like a heightened intelligence, but a relaxed approach.
Right.
Because there's more going on underneath the surface, right? And there's feelings that come with those
like
words. And you know, I feel like when I'm at I'll say full articulation, I probably believe in the person the least.
Yeah.
Like, I have to explain this to you from A to Z, and, like, if you require that energy, that's good, but you're going to get that much less time from me. So when I could just be chill, so the more casual I could... As I'm trying to be authentic, like, 100% of the time. And the world doesn't love that, but, like, I'm not going to, like... over-explain either if I don't want to. Like, if I say something casually, like, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I think that's beautiful. But yeah, choosing a voice is a deep process, bro.
Really and truly, like, even in any art form, knowing when to stop and knowing to say, this is what it is. This is what I want to go for. This is what I want to convey. Because you can keep on adding more brushstrokes. You can, to a song, you keep adding more words, adding more rhythms. You can keep on going, but my question with every artist is like, when do you know it's done? When you say that piece is complete, I'm going to put it out to the world, because you can keep on going back to the drawing board and tweaking it and this that.
1000%.
the perfectionist in most artists will lead them to do that. That's why a lot of them don't put out their shit.
So many
So
musicians.
that's why it's like, how do you know when something's done that it's done? And a lot of them always say it's not done. I should put it out because I had a deadline.
Yeah.
That's what it was left to put out. If I didn't have a deadline, I wouldn't have put it out.
That's wisdom right there.
Mm-hmm.
You have to set deadlines for yourself.
That's really all it is, man.
So what's your relationship with that in terms of when you feel a joke is finished, do you shoot like specials or video like your shit? Or me, when you always talk about this, managing your catalog, you start stand up, you go for a hot 5, you get a hot 10, then you get a hot 5 again because you trim down the 10 and you keep stacking. I imagine you're probably at a pretty comfortable place on stage. Like you really get in a nice pocket with the audience. Like it's really beautiful to see.
I noticed you had Keith Pedro on the podcast
Yes.
recently. That's the homie. That's the OG.
He's
That's
incredible,
my guy.
man.
He's like a big brother to me, even though I'm older than him.
He's beautiful.
But like,
you guys are both beautiful.
he's recorded how many albums already, and I've been nervous to release something because I'm in that same like, is it done? Is this joke done? Da, da, da. And I've been thinking of it too much, and like here he is like putting out album after album after album, and it's one of those things you just got to put it out. Like, come on, set a date, put it out, do everything you got to do that leads up to that, and do it. So,
bada bang. So when can we expect it?
but like you realize, 2024, 100%, 100%.
Yes.
But what I was trying to say is like for a joke, like sometimes it never stops evolving.
Right.
Like I just found a new tag to an old joke that I've been doing for 10 years. Yeah. And I'm like, how come all these years I didn't think about this? Like it's so easy. It was right there.
Yeah.
But it's like I've been digging deep into this hole and I stopped digging because I didn't find anything left in that hole. And when I just had to like dig to the side a little bit and then, there it was. Boom. There's that other little gem that I could have found. And it's just like, fuck, man. But whatever. I have it now. I'm going to use it. But sometimes you get to a point where like, it's such an old joke. People may have heard this, No,
but it's funny because it becomes part of your catalog. Like, there are the bangers that will hold you through.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like freestyling. I used to do stand up, and we moved to LA when I was 20, she was 21, and that's what you see with the really good guys like Chris D'Elia and such. Like he would have a couple. Like I've seen him do a bunch of times, and like I've only seen him do like maybe one through line joke. So he was at the point where he was basically freestyling the whole set, and like that's really
that's impressive.
Well, that's what I do with music now. That's like the funnest way for the audience to get what they need, I know for sure. But like sometimes when you see someone rock a set, and even if you've heard it like 5-10 times, like just doing the circuit with Wynn, watching her in Toronto, there's a couple comedians who, that's okay, who, you hear their shit and you hear them do it again and again, and it's still funny. Because it bangs kind of differently and everything, and it becomes like even like George Carlin shit. Like you watch over again to get that same feeling. So I feel like your guys' material is probably more evergreen than you think it is. Like I bet if you put out a special, or I'm assuming you have some video.
Yeah, I have a bunch of like a bunch of clips that I've amassed over my years. Yeah, but like. I'm the type of guy that doesn't like to watch myself. Like, I'm like, I can't watch. I can't
really?
watch. Right?
I'm like that too. Like, when I started comedy, this guy would always come with, and like afterwards we would like rate my my set because I want to get better. And I'd be like, I just need some space from this one. Like, I can't watch that yet. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not ready for any criticism around that.
I do get it.
That's so funny. Because there was a time, where I would, like, kill and get standing ovations. And then I'd look back at it and be like, what were they standing for?
Sometimes it must just be the energy. That's that magic of the live all-together energy, I think.
Yeah, man. People want to let you know how much they fuck with you too. Like if you're feeling that. Sometimes it's like you're expressing the perfect thing that they need it. or you're just being. Sometimes when you're just being, they're like, I fuck with that.
Yeah.
Like overall, like you're as a person. I think that has so much more to do with what the beautiful kind of spiritual thing that takes place with humans during entertainment really is.
Yeah.
It's more almost about like who's saying it, why are they saying it, where's it coming from. They're drinking in live media and like giving you that reaction. It's just special art, man.
It's true, man. There's so many things that like, because it happens every day in life with me. Like there's certain things that someone will say that I won't take in because I don't fuck with you, but I'll hear it from somebody that I do fuck with. And be like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And I'm so guilty of that, and I know when I am, so I always have to be like, all right, let me ask someone that I totally trust and be like, yo, what do you think about this perspective? And if you think that person's right, then okay, maybe it's me.
Yeah, that's good.
know.
It's nice that you're open to that.
Yeah, I always make sure because I don't like coming to conclusions, man.
Yeah.
I always need a definite
That's
because
true.
I never want to, I don't know. I just always like to leave on a good note.
Yeah, because why wouldn't you?
Yeah. But
Do you love yourself?
hell fucking right I do.
Yeah. Is that like
100%.
Is that just like, is that hey, like I can really, I do work towards that, or is that just like a natural state of being for you?
Well, loving myself comes from a place of just survival. Just knowing if I truly want to survive and live life in a way that's like
Straight up.
Yeah, that was.
positive and,
Yeah.
like if you live sad, that's detrimental to your happiness. And in life, you want to be happy, just don't be sad. so
That's so simple.
like
Sometimes not easy, maybe.
and you gotta if you want to be happy, you gotta know how to love yourself. You gotta know how to love. And like there are times when I'm very sad and like I'm not gonna front like I don't have my down days where I'm just like, oh, I suck,
Yeah.
That happens. I'm my own harshest critic, but I know like into my core, like I love me 100%, and as a result of loving me, I think about the people that love me just as much as I love myself, and I don't want to let them down neither because I don't want to let myself down. It's like it's
holistic.
Yeah, like, oh, I love myself, and I love myself so much that I would never want to hurt my mom, and my mom loves me so much, so why would I do something that would hurt her and in turn hurt me to double down, so like all those kind of things force me to not go as deep as I know I can go sometimes, into the dark side at least.
Yeah.
Right, that's what keeps me at bay. I stay the prodigal son. I always come back home.
That's beautiful.
I don't try to stay too far astray from my original principles. That was ingrained to me as a child. So,
which is knowing you're blessed. What are those principles?
It's just like very very straight up. The golden rule: treat others the way you want to be treated.
Yes.
Lead with love.
Good old school values.
Don't lead with love and don't leave a path of destruction.
Oh.
And
big facts.
just always have good intentions, like true, honest, good intentions with everything that you do. And I feel like if you truly apply that to anything, like you're not going to be a bad person. You're most likely going to be a good dude or a good dudette. Like you're going to be a good person in general.
You'll do good wherever you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, also, I'm not perfect, man. I'm not gonna sit here and be all self-righteous and be like, yeah, man, but I'm a piece of shit sometimes too, man.
Yeah.
Everyone's a fucking piece of shit.
Everyone is.
But like, you just try your best to be the
self-awareness.
the least amount of shitty things, and
that's right.
to yourself and to others.
Sometimes I leave the water on for way too long when I'm doing dishes.
That's as bad as when he goes.
Waste. It's a waste.
Brutal.
Yeah, that's that's so funny.
Sometimes she won't move as fast as she can in the self-checkout, even though she knows there's people waiting. No kidding. You actually do. Winnie gets way too anxious.
Oh, that's funny.
Do you care what people think about you?
Yeah.
That's so beautiful, Anasty.
Yeah.
You're
Like,
beautiful.
anybody that, like, to the people that say they don't, like, wow, power to you. Like, that's a strong
Thank you.
trait. Like, that you don't care. Like, I care because maybe, you know, back to that original principle of, like, aiming to please and making sure people feel good because that makes me feel good.
Yeah.
If sorry, my brain farted. Literally just farted. What were we talking about again?
Oh,
The original. What was the original question?
We're all high. as shit.
Yeah. I was literally. I'm like, yeah, I don't know the weight. Literally.
it was about helping people. So that
Oh.
must have been.
Care what people think.
Oh, do I care what people think?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
because I care about people,
We're so fucking high.
I care about how people feel. So that means I'm very empathetic and considerate of their feelings and what
Yeah.
they want.
That's nice.
So naturally, by default, do I care what people think of me? Yes, because
Do you
I
create
care-
boundaries around it?
I try to. Like, I never. Like, I remember a time when I didn't have good boundaries, and I let a lot of people take advantage of me. And
Yeah.
I was like, whatever, you paid it for. You know, you may have gotten taken advantage of now, but your intentions were right. You paid it forward.
That's still
it's
true.
gonna come back
That's still
somehow.
true.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
You know?
That's nice.
Like, every time something fucked up happens to me, I'm just like, ah, what'd you do, bro?
Yeah.
But when something good, I'm like, you see, see why you did that good deed over there? It's for this. It was gonna pay out, you know.
That's beautiful.
When I got caught up in, like, I'm not even gonna go into the story, but you know, when I got caught up in I got banged up abroad in Taiwan for like some small bits of weed that they found in my pocket. 7 months of my life stuck in legal limbo. But all that to say, what could have been a horror story for 10 years in an Asian jail or in a Taiwanese jail was like the most beautiful coming of age story where I found myself in Taiwan, you know, just like for 7 months,
Yeah.
but stuck there legally.
So you
you know?
couldn't leave Taiwan
No.
for 7 months until they figured out what they were going to do with your case.
Yeah.
And in what capacity did they find that? Were you traveling?
I was in transit to the Philippines.
In transit to the Philippines.
Oh,
And they
Man.
found I had just left the Cannabis Cup in Jamaica, went back home to Toronto.
Oh man.
Flew straight to to Taiwan. Like the same night, I had like 4 hours to go home, repack, go back, and I had a pair of pants that had weed in one of those little change pockets of the little.
Because
pants.
people just hand you
What are we
bud
talking
when you're out here,
here?
right?
Are we talking like less than a gram?
Hold on, I'll show you right here.
Shut the fuck up, dude.
About.
That's nuts.
I would say
bro.
about that. With backwood guts, hair lint, not even a 0.1, my
Holy
guys.
shit.
So when they're like scraping out my pocket, they said the dog sniffed this out. They're like, "Where's the rest of it?" I'm like, "Yo, guys, I work in the industry. Eh? This is what I do. It's legal in Canada. I sell weed for a living. I work in dispensaries. I have a medical marijuana
Here you go.
license. Like this is my. I'm a patient. Like look at me, you know." But they're like, "Wait, you sell drugs?"
Oh no.
Trafficking. I'm like, no, fuck. So they hit me with trafficking and possession. I was like, no.
Oh.
What? Dude,
But-
and then you were there for 7 months to sort it out?
Yeah, I was just trying to, and then luckily they.
And that was recent, obviously?
No, that was in like 2017.
He was too kind. He tried to say the truth. Remember when we tried to
know,
say
yeah,
the full
you-
truth?
yeah.
When you travel, you got to say anything north of this is a stretch.
You know. So,
You
but
know,
here's
say
the thing.
fucking nothing.
I told them
what is this? Be
everything.
like, I have no fucking clue.
I said, here, okay, let me show you. Show me a computer or phone, something. Somebody let me show you what I mean. We're obviously lost in translation. So they're already putting me into the system. Like I'm already in, but I'm pleading with
These
them
people are
Oh,
bored,
God.
right?
They're bored, and they have jobs, and they have to justify their salary.
Are you feeling very scared
And
in
they're
these
freaking
moments?
freaking out because
Dude.
this is Asia.
Dude.
This
This
is
is
where
Taiwan.
this is Taiwan, where it's considered a type 2 drug with cocaine, crack, opium.
They're brainwashed.
Holy
Right?
boy.
Yeah.
But now it's legal in Taiwan now, or like it's called
Nice.
medical
Decriminalized or whatever.
Yeah.
I went through the Taiwan
That's great.
airport. Dude, when I was in Taiwan, I was stopping over from Indonesia to go to Jamaica, and Winnie sent me a text that she just got turned away because my gig in Jamaica flew her to Jamaica as well, but she got turned away in the airport. I got tragic news in Taiwan, too. Taiwan, why are you so mean to Canadians,
So
bro?
mean, man. Let's do our thing. You know what's crazy was
But you found yourself in Taiwan, so you found this new city. After all that,
It was really beautiful.
Yeah, I was trying to keep it together because there's sometimes I cut off the end because I don't want to smoke all the tobacco in one thing, and to minimize it. But then sometimes it doesn't leave enough to hold the thing together. But I have this piece right here. Still.
Just do the long thin. Yeah. Oh, you have that. Just do the whole. I just ripped the glue right off and fucking patch her up.
True. All right. But what were you asking though?
What was it like getting caught with drugs in Asia? No, what happened with this 7 months? I think that was leading into a story somehow, but you found yourself in a coming of age story.
Yeah, no, that because it was one of those things where it felt like it was gonna be a curse, but then it turned out to be a blessing in disguise, and that's where I chalked it up to my karma, right? I was like, oh, you paid it forward for this moment. You know what I'm saying? You fucking...
Nice.
Because I got so lucky. Because literally after I told them, like, no, please, let me show you. And I showed them a pilot I had a weed cooking show, of me, like, cooking with the weed, how to break it down, all of it, And there's this scene where there's just so much weed around me. I'm, like, playing it. I'm like, it's like a funny little scene. And these guys are still laughing, watching. And, and they kind of got it after. They're like, oh, okay, we see what you mean. So, all right, but we already put you through the system, so now you're going to have to actually go through it. I'm like, fuck. And then I got even luckier.
They did that quick.
It was already like, because the moment,
Jesus.
they catch you, they're already like
high alert. Their cortisol is going. They're also just like
you're already punched into the system,
Oof.
And next thing you know, when they're taking me to the detention center.
Oh, what?
I'm like, cause I was in a holding cell for a day, just waiting for trial or for prosecution.
What did they do with your bags during that time?
It was all at the airport. They just took all my shit. It was just because they said they lost my bags, but really they were just going through it. So, but I had 2 days in Taiwan just to peruse the streets, check out the night markets.
But you had your phone and money,
I had my
so
phone
you
and
could
money.
get
So I was
a
like,
hotel.
when they're like, yeah, we
So
lost your baggage. I'm like, whatever. I'm here for 2 days I'll be good. I have my backpack. So when they're like, we found your shit. I was raving that weekend. I did all the drugs. I was like, whatever, okay? So
yeah, dude, you're a fucking overseas fucking party, man.
So basically my sentence was based off of my piss sample.
Oh.
Oh, fuck.
So they were waiting for the piss sample results.
Oh, my God. And
that you did before the rave?
No,
Raving?
so I raved. I did all this shit.
No, fuck.
On my way out, I'm going to the airport to leave to go to the Philippines. They're like, come with us. We found your bags. And in your bags, we found this. What is this? And I was just like, yeah. Yo, when they started taking it, put it in a plastic bag, and they weighed it. And I'm like, yo, zero out the bag, man. Tear that shit. I mean, you don't fluff my stats. Like, the fuck?
Yo.
That's not even a point, They're
Big
like, oh.
bags, son.
Right? So
Big
anyways.
bags. What the fuck, dude?
Eventually, so when we're at the station, when they're sending me to the detention center, it was to await my piss results, right? And after that, once they figure out what my results are, they would figure out my sentencing time, and then that's when they would send me to the next jail. So in the transport truck, I'm sitting there like, fuck, man. I'm the first person by the door. When they open the door, I should have been the first one to go out. But I was just sat there like kind of sad, moping, and everyone just got off, and I was the last person to walk out. And then as they're checking everybody in, there's 6 of us. By the fourth person, they reached capacity in the jail. And they were legally not allowed to throw any more.
You were guided.
People into the jail.
You were guided.
They're like, yeah, man, you're not allowed to leave the country. Here's your passport. but you're not gonna be able to leave anyways.
If
but
you would have gotten out first, so hang back.
so I just sat there, just like said, literally, if I just got up and went, I would have been in jail. But if I sat there, like I did, I got free bail. They're like, yes, you have to stay with somebody in jail, or you have to stay with somebody in Taiwan until your trial date, right? And then,
Who did you stay with in Taiwan?
so in that weekend, the dude that I went raving with.
And can I hit that plug?
Yes, sorry,
It's okay.
I got into the story. My bad.
No, it's a beautiful. It feels right to tell a story while smoking a blunt. It's like
You
a
know?
gentleman.
Bro, you have to write a book.
Yeah, your life is amazing.
This is insane.
This is incredible.
No, but you really should consider it.
I'm gonna write the book about your life for you, if you don't mind.
You know, I did a one man show in the Philippines trying to tell the story because I went to the Philippines finally after.
I was gonna say, who was waiting on you in the Philippines as you're in this fucking truck?
I was supposed to go see my father. He was sick, and I wanted to go see him, and then I'm like, I remember pleading. I was like, please. I'm a medical. The prosecutor's sitting there, just everyone speaks Mandarin only. Like my translator didn't even speak that much English. He was just the best person in the precinct.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So after, she's like, do you have any final words? I was like, yes, Your Honor. This is my life. I'm a medicinal patient. Marijuana is something I use to live, to make money off of.
Wow.
This is my livelihood. It's legal where I'm from, and eventually the world's going to follow suit. So please, let me just go see my father in the Philippines. He's sick right now. And just pleading, just like, please, if you can find it in your heart, just forgive me and just let me continue on my ways. I'll never come back,
Wow.
And I looked at Translator, like, please let them know. And she just looks at me, looks at them, and she's like, sure. I'm like, bitch, that was like 4 words, man. What the fuck? Tell her everything I said, please. Oh my God, I'm going to jail. Like, damn it, no. So in that moment, that's when I was like, God. I'm lost in translation. All they see is I'm a drug dealing, smuggler. Like, I'm going to fucking jail, man.
And the main piece of information is like 4 syllables.
Yeah.
Very compatible.
I'm like, I don't know. I know you guys speak in characters and shit, but like, maybe you said everything that I said, and like, she's probably like, Your Honor, he's very sorry. And that's it. Like, I'm like, fuck. But honestly, like, despite all that,
It's amazing.
So there were so many clerical errors that happened because of them, because they normally want to make examples of foreigners that try to smuggle or do anything, and they'll put it front news, everything. So someone told me, like, just be careful, be ready. You might be put on blast. There might be media around this if it becomes a thing. Be ready for it.
That's a nice heads up.
And it was really cool though because they didn't put me in. I was supposed to go into the detention center. When I came back to the courts, and they were like, yeah, there was no more space for him. They were, I guess, the boss or the head sergeant was pissed. Like, what are you doing? He's supposed to be, made of an example. Like, why is he out? Because I had the presence of mind to like record with my phone. They let me keep my phone for some reason.
Oh, good. Oh, so
I'm
you had
cuffed with my phone, just like, scrolling and shit. They gave me Wi-Fi, I'm like, all right. So I'm recording the conversation. I send it to my boy. I'm like, yo, what are they saying? And I'm like, yo, this guy's getting fucking reamed out for not putting you in jail. Like, he's like, oh, we're not legally not allowed to. I was following protocol. It's like, yeah, but you should have put him in first. He should have been the first one in. Why was he not?
How did he know that?
Well, like, because
they positioned him in the truck that way.
not only that, but I am the foreigner. Like, you should
Yeah.
know this is protocol. Like, these are the ones we use as the
Game
example.
kill, big game kill.
Right.
Like,
Okay.
oh, we got
so the
one.
other prisoners were. That's not the right.
Local
but they were
Taiwanese guys,
people. Okay.
Just scared
shit.
already. Like, oh, we've shamed our family. And I'm just like,
And you're just like, Man, I can't wait to get back to Canada and eat some fucking whatever. I'm gonna smoke some weed.
All the things that apply in regular jails, I've watched Blood In, Blood Out, and I've watched enough rap and hip hop shit, to know what goes on. You state your presence. You make sure you're a tough guy. You get into a fight, beat somebody up, do some shit like that, So I'm in jail, ready to be like, yo, who wants to fuck, And everyone walks in.
Get back into your Nas
like,
voice.
and I'm just looking at everyone like, yo, don't fuck with me, huh? And everyone's just like, what's wrong with this guy? We're just scared for our lives. Our parents are gonna fuck us up, our families are gonna disown us, and that's what I know. Like, okay, I don't have to be a tough guy in jail here.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's good.
And then
That's good.
But yeah, when they let me go,
Well, that takes care of one thing. That's good.
the problem was, so here's what could be a problem, could also be the blessing, right? So when they let me go, I had to stay with a Taiwanese citizen, and they became my guarantor. So like if I left, that person would go to jail. So now that
You
person's
can't
like,
do
don't
that.
fuck around, man. If I'm now signing you off to me, like,
Yeah.
cool. So this is the guy I went partying with, right? And he's like, all right.
Had you known him prior to partying? Holy fuck.
I just met this guy.
What
Just did
a-
his podcast. Okay. Cool guy. So shout outs to Temba Child. Shout outs to Antonio Chen. So Tony Chen, right? Half Mexican, half Latino, or half Mexican, half Taiwanese American. Born in America to a Taiwanese mother and a Mexican father.
So he was cool with homies who are new, just being like, "Will you take the? Will you?"
He was like Rob Lowe in Wayne's World. Remember when he would start speaking Cantonese and
Yes.
freaking when he was calling, Mountain Dew, Pepsi Cola, whatever, all that shit, right? I'm like, whoa, this guy's good. Anyways, he was that guy. So when they called and he started speaking in Mandarin, because my boy Temba, he didn't speak the language, so like, yo, have Tony do it. So Tony's talking to them. They think he's Taiwanese, so they just let me go to him. All right.
Oh, nice.
And then they're like, oh, wait, before we go, just tell him to send his ID.
Wait.
He sends his ID, and then they realize he's an American. And they're like,
Oh,
oh, we
fuck.
can't send you off to this guy. He's American.
Oh,
So it
fuck.
has to be a Taiwanese citizen.
They
you know?
checked.
But they had already finished the paperwork. I'm still recording. These guys are arguing again. And this is like 4 or 5 in the morning. It's December 23rd.
Oh, what? It's Christmas?
It's almost Christmas. I'm recording. I send a video. I'm like, why are these guys fighting? And it's making me nervous. They're like, oh, they want to go home, bro. The guy's like, we got to redo all this fucking paperwork. Because you didn't fucking get the ID first. We just submitted. Everything's done.
They're
now we
like-
got to redo this shit again. I'm just trying to go home and buy presents for my fucking child. Like, fuck. Like, these guys are
That's
mad.
the second time them doing the paperwork too quickly has really landed them in a sticky situation. Put your intuition first, homies.
Yeah.
So 2 fuck ups. They didn't put me in jail. They didn't do fill out the paperwork right.
Yeah.
So they're just like, just get him out of here. We'll deal with him after the holidays. But then you got Christmas holidays, New Year's, Chinese New Year's, Dragon Boat Festival.
Yeah, you're good
Fucking
until
Lantern
fucking
Festival.
March.
By February, March, I'm like waiting in limbo. Like, yo, okay, cool. I was supposed to be here 30 days. Now it's 90. Like,
What did you do, bro?
I'm running out of money. I got a job teaching English.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
you'd have to hustle.
Yeah, I became like the Filipino Jack Black, and it was like, instead of school of hip rock, it was school of hip hop.
Yes! They must have loved you. Oh my
I
god.
kept on getting new contracts, and the thing was,
Because they love your vibe.
Mom, I don't have the certification. I didn't have the police check, obviously, but it's necessary when you're working with with kids in schools out there. But there's this trusted Facebook site that you can only enter if you provide those credentials.
Okay.
And so like it's a place where people find substitute teachers when they need. So my boy just claimed that he found me on there, and they just believed him because he worked for them for so long.
Oh my god, yes.
Whoa, what
I did
a
1 week.
gift.
And
Wow.
killed it. And they're like, yo, this guy, next teacher was like, hey, I loved how you were with the kids. Could you do my class for 2 weeks? I'm going on vacation. I was like, yeah, done. Another teacher was like, hey, man, could you do one for me for another, 3 weeks? I was like, done. Next one was like, hey, could you do a month? I was like, bet. And I'm going like from kindergarten to grade 1 to grade 2 to grade 6 to grade 4. Like, I'm just like skipping all these different, just, following the lessons, but putting my flavor on it, right?
Yo!
But all these, I'm like, kids, what's the sound of the letter A? They're like, ah. I'm like, yeah, let me say ah. They're like, ah. I'm like, okay. And Let me say it. Oh, okay. They're like, okay. I'm like, what's the sound of the letter B? They're like, buh. Like, yeah, now hold up your gun fingers and let me go, buh. They're like, buh. Like, what's the sound of a hard C? They're like, cuh. I'm like, yeah, cuh. Hold your C's up, cuh. They're like, yeah, cuh. Yo, it was so fun, man. It was one of the best times of my life. Like that's when that original curse turned into this like new awakening.
Okay, so here you are though. Just got back from the weed thing in Jamaica, in Toronto. I'm gonna go visit my pops in Philippines and just to be with him. On the way, you get stuck. Okay, now snap that moment months in advance. There you are, coffee in the morning, on the way to a school, making some dough. In Taiwan with like your life just got like sprinkled in. Like what? Like did you ever have a snap moment where you woke up putting on your shirt to do this like interesting opportunity gig where you were just like, what is my life?
This is, bro, from the moment I didn't go to jail. That's when I was like, thank you, God.
You were touched by God.
I'm still in
moment.
prison. Except Taiwan as a country is my prison cell. So I'm about to explore the fuck out of this country until they send me home.
You better enjoy
you know?
it.
And I'm gonna like be grateful for life. You know, I'm gonna do it.
You're free,
I'm gonna
bro.
do right by this opportunity, right? And the funny thing is I was asking the higher powers like, yo, man, I need to shake up in life. Like, I need new material. I felt I was in a dark place. I was telling the same jokes. I'm like,
There
I need
you
something
go.
new. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, literally, oh my heavenly Father, thank you. I'm living my jokes right now. You know, I'm teaching these kids.
Oh my God.
I'm beating cases. You know, I'm experiencing life.
Wow.
Like the first time I ever swiped and matched with somebody went on a date.
Well, in Taiwan.
It was in Taiwan.
I was gonna say,
Right?
were you single during this time?
I was single at this time.
That's a good time to be in another country and have time to kill.
Yo, and straight up, Tinder with any girl that I've matched with and met up with, 100% smash percentage. Okay,
Beautiful.
mind you, it's only been once, but that's still 1,000%. It's still 100%. Okay, 1 for 1, baby.
Yes, killed it.
But the funny thing was, is this beautiful chick from Botswana, and she put the butt in Botswana. You know,
Bet.
just boom.
Whew.
Her name
You put the swan in
was
that
spelled
too?
MMKAY.
Hey, are you okay, Mr. Garrison?
Her fucking name was
Okay.
Like, I was like,
Okay.
yo, your name is okay? She's like, okay. I was like,
Okay.
no. This is, and I'm like, God, you're writing my jokes right
Yeah.
now through life. Thank you. You know,
Dude.
I'm just living my best life.
Your canvas of life.
Wow.
They're
You
paying me
express it.
$50 an hour at this school, American.
Yes.
Wow.
Weed in Taiwan was $50 a gram.
Are you serious?
I get sentenced. Okay, this is how I get sent home. I get sentenced. I just applied for legal aid on a whim because I look like the native Taiwanese folks, right?
Sick.
So I heard that like they're allowed to get legal aid. They have the legal aid rights. So I'm like, let me just front like I'm Taiwanese and maybe they'll think I'm an ABC, which is American born Chinese. But I'm fully Filipino, but I went in there with my Google Translate, you know, filled out the documents the best as I could. I asked the dude, I'm like, hey, I'm a American born Chinese, da 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 da. Can I apply? They're like, we don't speak English, but here, fill this out. Filled it out, submitted it, just crossed my fingers. It was a long shot, you know?
Oh my God.
But Taiwan, based off that original experience, you could tell Taiwan is very lackadaisical in their legal system because a lot of crime doesn't get committed out there. They're very like, you know?
As you said, the criminals will feel like ashamed because they dishonored their family.
Yeah. People don't jaywalk because they don't want to fucking commit crime, you know? So
Yeah.
Shit.
I lost phones like multiple times and I'd come back in the same spot, you know, 3 days later. It's just sitting there like someone's afraid to touch it, you know? Or they'll bring it to the police station, say, found it, here it is. It's off my hands.
That's
Then there's a
nice.
directory. You go up and you can just find your phones at police stations, and you look through the list, and there's all these pictures of everything that they found, and I'm like, there's like a half bag of donuts, like all these things, people returning everything. I'm like, what an honorable country. You know what I mean?
Yo.
Or are you just in fear? Are you okay?
Yeah,
Blink
yeah,
twice.
yeah.
Like,
Yo.
like, are you that scared of getting in
Yeah.
trouble? Like, okay.
That part.
But
That's
all that to
the
say,
worry, I guess.
Shit.
I don't even know where I was going with that, but like it was just
Just
such a crazy experience. Okay, so when
Surreal.
I was tutoring this dude, and he was like, let me get you a lawyer, let me help you out. And he went to get me a
Legal aid.
lawyer. I had all these documents that were sent to my buddy's place, and I was like, I'm not Taiwanese, I can't read these. Can you guys read these documents for me?
That's great.
The lawyer's going through, and she's like, you have been appointed a lawyer. You got a legal aid. I was like, what? She's like, this is insane. You're not supposed to be able to be eligible for this, but for some reason, you got it.
You're
I was like-
guided, bro.
I'm like, what? For real? They're like, yeah, he's actually a really good drug defense lawyer, so you should be okay. I was like, wicked, bet.
Oh my god.
So I'm in my last contract, and this is a long contract. I'm like, I took it on. It was like 6 weeks. It was from the principal of the school and the owner of like the school company that he ran. He had like sites in Singapore, Hong Kong, Taiwan.
You're a natural
everywhere.
leader. So like they just want you there. You
Well, they're
thrive
like-
anywhere
he's like-
you go.
He goes, I haven't went on a vacation in years, but I feel it's time. And seeing you with the kids and seeing how you've been able to just do every class, like I finally trust somebody to take on my class. So 6 weeks, are you able to? I'm like, bet. But I'm like,
That's so
it's
nice.
been 6 months, almost 6 months. If I get dipped out at any point in time, like I can fuck this guy over.
Yeah.
But you
So-
don't want to do that.
I didn't want to do that, and I still did it. And luckily, a week and a half after I finished the contract, they're like, yeah, so you just go see the lawyer. Once I saw the lawyer, they're like, all right, we'll get you in court next week, but bring all your stuff, because they might just like send you off from there. I brought all my stuff. Like, you're going to plead guilty. They're going to reduce your sentence to 3 months. I'm going to take away the trafficking. And we're just going to hit you with possession. And you get hit with a 3-month sentence. But there's a thing where if it's under 6 months, you could pay $50 a day to get out of jail. So I had 90 days, so I had to do 90 times 50, $50 a day. Spent $4,500 to get home, American.
Wow.
And I'm just like, how crazy is it that
You can pay to get out.
that like $50 an hour is how much I got paid.
Oh.
And, $50 for a gram of weed and $50 to get out of jail so I can go home. And and it was even funnier. It was on the way out. They're like, all right, $4,500 to pay your way out of jail. They're like, oh, and you overstayed your visa, 6 months visa. You're here 7 months, so that's another $1,000. I was like,
Oh.
I wasn't allowed to leave. You guys wouldn't let me leave. What the fuck, man?
That's
Like-
grimy, son.
Like, hey, man, it is what it is. You should have renewed. I'm like, I couldn't renew anything. Like, and why would I? Like,
It's extortion.
yeah. So whatever. I spent another $1,000, but it was crazy that like I left with money after being, caught up in that situation. I was like, that's the most money I've made with a legit job that wasn't completely legit.
Yeah.
But
No,
I was
I
like,
feel
wow,
you.
I can't believe all this happened
I can't believe
over
all this
crumbs.
happened.
Crumbs. Your
Fuck.
life can take. So you were
Oh, shit.
You were 2 prisoners away
Oh
from
shit,
freedom.
guys!
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god! I'm
gotta go.
supposed to go. It's 5:00.
Yeah, get out of here.
Oh my god! Holy shit! My car. I gotta go right now.
Okay,
Okay.
bye.
Holy shit! This was amazing.
This
but
was
oh my god, my
amazing.
thing's
Get outta here.
My thing's leaving at 5. I gotta call this guy right now.
Call him right
Okay.
now.
Tell him I am. Ooh, wow.
Where can people find you?
We'll put it all down below. You go.
Big Norm Alconcel on all my socials, Instagram. I don't really use my TikTok, but I'm gonna try to do that more this year.
Yeah.
And just look out for me, man. I'll be out here in these streets, Toronto, Scarborough. I'll be in LA, February 19th, San Diego, February 15th,
Hey.
February 21st. I'll be in Sacramento with the homie Keith Pedro.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Bless you.
Awesome.
Okay, get out of here.
I gotta
Thank
go.
you for blessing
Thank
us.
you so much.
Love you guys.
Love you
Love you
guys.
too.
Thank you,
Discipline
brother.
stoners, man. Keep on listening to this podcast. It's the start of a new year. Blessings with all the dressings. I'm
Yo.
Norm. I love you guys.
Love you,
Thank
brother.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Take
Thank
care.
you for being here. Let me get these off your head. Go ahead, get ready.
Oh my God.
That was so good. That is a movie of a life. Bathroom's the last door on your right if you need, bro.
I'm just gonna call these guys right now and tell them.
Okay, we're gonna see.
Last door, yeah. Okay, that was fucking incredible. We literally talked into like literally a life of film. That is
Yeah,
amazing.
that was-
Norm, bless. Yeah.
Amazing.
Incredible.
Thank you for tuning in.
Thanks for watching. Go follow Norm. Watch him do stand up, and bug him in the comments about dropping some more content, because what a gift, man.
Yeah.
So fucking funny.
That's blowing my mind right now.
I know.
So
I
hard.
have to smoke a
Process.
joint and process this. Love it. Okay.
Bye.
Bye, guys. You ever see something so true that you couldn't unsee it? Something that you just knew would serve you. Whether it be self-awareness, plant medicine, a lover, a career. That's what we get down to here. Welcome to Disciplined Stoners, the gateway drug to mindfulness. Spark up or don't, and enjoy the show. Glad you're here.
Hey, listen, man. We can't smoke on no meds, homie. And I ain't into sports and stuff, so I be putting my athleticism in smoking. Yeah. You know what we smoking on, light it up a Ellevan, flexing with the super strong, puffing like a smoke-a-thon. Gotta kill a smoke alarm, throw smoke rings at the throat like a water gun. You know word like a sing-along, set it, let it be like a bet you betting on. It's a bud throne that I'm sitting on, phone it in like a telethon. When it's said and done, everyone wanna be puffing like a smoke-a-thon. We be puffing like a smoke-a-thon. We be puffing like a smoke-a-thon. Puffing like a smoke-a-thon. I be puffing like a smoke-a-thon. Only hitting that hella bomb. Yeah, gotta kill a smoke alarm. We be puffin' like a puffathon. We be puffin' like a puffathon. I'm like bad boy, baby. Puff my main thing. Yes, terps in the nose. THC in my veins. CBG for the highs. CBD for the pain. Shout out every other element that we haven't measured yet, because education has been restrained. Why? I wonder why. Cannabis, this fucking guy, he goes up in the pharma cabinet and says, I'll replace you and take you out the game. Good night, alright. And you find that have been prescribed. It's time to take a hike vibe and you're gonna kill this guy. Smoke a joint every morning and you'll be fine. The red cherry is where I find the light. You know what we smoking on, light it up a Ellevan, flexing with the super strong, puffing like a smoke-a-thon. Gotta cut a smoke alarm, throw smoke rings at the throat like a water gun. You know word like a sing-along, set it, let it be like a bet you betting on. It's a bud throne that I'm sitting on, phone it in like a telethon. When it's said and done, everyone wanna be puffing like a smoke-a-thon. We be puffing like a smoke-a-thon. We be puffing like a smoke-a-thon. Puffing like a smoke-a-thon. I be puffing like a smoke-a-thon. Only hitting that hella bomb. Yeah, gotta kill a smoke alarm. We be puffing like a puffathon. We be puffing like a puffathon. Disciplined stoners out on the scene, matching tracksuits and Jordan 3s. Can't wait to see you and smoke more weed. What's that you got there, a blunt for me? Fuck it, I'm lucky, I love you too. Let's see you all drop some new stuff too. What's there a Sunday on a Sunday cruise? Doing reviews for Hair Next Skew. Smoking the fire and we hella blitz. I got my paws on shit nobody gets. Outstanding buds like they came from the drip. Throwing some primo on top of the tip. Never am stiff, I love the community. At an event talking like it's just you and me. Culture and industry making its history. We are just happy to be here and getting so lit. You know what we smoking on, light it up a Ellevan, flexing with the super strong, puffing like a smoke-a-thon. Gotta cut a smoke alarm, throw smoke rings at the throat like a water gun. You know word like a sing-along, set it, let it be like a bet you betting on. It's a bud throne that I'm sitting on, phone it in like a telethon. When it's said and done, everyone wanna be puffing like a smoke-a-thon. We be puffing like a smoke-a-thon. We be puffing like a smoke-a-thon.
bad boy, baby. Puff our main thing. Yes, terps in the nose. TC in my veins. CBG for the highs. CBT for the pain. Shout out every other element that we haven't mentioned yet, because education has been restrained. Why? I wonder why. Cannabis, this fucking guy, he goes up in the pharma cabinet and says, I'll replace you.
Yeah, it's so smoky. We smoked now. It won't stop because of all the weed being smoked.
Oh.